Yo, let's go bedroom door real quick. Don't want my mom to hear me since I live in my mom's house. Tyra Jamel Moore. I guess you think that everybody who has not an extravagant background or backdrop, nothing but a green screen, lives at their mama house. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Tyra. Um, yeah, that Stuart Rhodes dude. I don't know if you've been keeping up with a lot of the political news, Tyra. You say your facts, law, and evidence and all this other bullshit. Stuart Rhodes got convicted today, so that's not the leader of the Proud Boys. Well, he's there with the Oath Keepers. Since you can't say the word oath, Oath. You say how you pronounce it, oath. Since you have like I don't know if it's stupidity or it's a lisp or if it's just both, but seems like you pronounce it um Oaff. So with that said, I saw Glenn Kirshner do a little recap of that shit, and I thought of you because you have your little pending. Well, not even a little. You have a big pending trial coming, and you're taking it for a fucking joke. So, yeah, man, you can't be playing with that shit, man. You can't be playing with that shit at all. Well, I didn't even do my banners and shit. My channel come down, your life come down. Let's see what else we got here. Oh boy, let's see here. I ain't got no goddamn. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Tyra. Yeah. Oath Keepers got convicted, and how it relates to your case is because them dudes, although you were not on federal property, you're still dealing with government officials, city officials, state officials, what have you, and you still chose to not necessarily. Well, you did present firearms in the video, threatening state and or government officials, and that's exactly what the Oath Keepers, again, that's OAFF, the Oath Keepers did. Now, this dude got convicted. I think the trial lasted 3 weeks, something like that, or the jury just took 3 days to convict him. So, Tyra, this is something you need to keep in mind as you head into trial. You say you're not going to plea, you're going to fight it out, and that the DA who you keep on threatening. Now put a pin in that, since you keep on trying to intimidate and or threaten the DA, the prosecutor. Who else you try to intimidate? The DA, the prosecutor, the detective. You call her a bitch and whatnot, and all this other shit. And according to Glenn Kirshner, what you're doing, the same shit that Trump is doing, you could be considered trying to impede the investigation and or trying to obstruct justice from happening. So I hope you keep that in mind. And keep in mind, when you went live for I think 6 hours the other day, at the hour and 52 minute, yeah, you were reading the affidavit, not affidavit, but you were reading the affidavit. At the hour and 52 minute and 16 second mark, you were reading the affidavit, and that's when Brenda Sam had put in her affidavit report requesting for the warrant, that she has information that she will not disclose at that time. So Tyra, you have more charges coming. Honestly, you have more charges coming, but you want to take this shit for a joke, and that's just gonna slap you sideways, man. It's gonna slap you sideways. I promise you. So yeah. I mean, you called it. You say you're a legal expert, but somehow you still don't see the full scope of it. Yeah, they got you on the threatening, or whatever they call it. It's not exactly threatening; is how they term it in Indiana. In Indiana, but something with a public official or something of that shit. That's what they call stacking. So they're gonna get you on that. They're gonna convict you on that, and then once you're fucking locked up, that's when the other fucking trials start. You say you're a legal expert, but somehow you don't see this shit coming. All right, but here's the whole thing with stacking, Tyra. Just like they did to the fucking Oaff keepers, again, OAFF, right? Once you're fucking locked up and you can't work and you can't secure loans to pay your lawyers, that's how they get you. But there ain't no plea for you. Once you're locked up, can you really plea? They've already got you convicted on related charges, right? So, and the thing is, I was thinking about this while I was at work, and you're on fucking on YouTube for free, getting no donations. I'm actually working and earning a fucking wage myself. Other people with the job, like fucking Mayor of Detroit, union job, like myself, Vic, earning a wage, union job, like myself, and fucking Mayor of Detroit. So what I'm saying is, you're there while I'm listening for your retarded ass working for free, being a slave for Sungrown and BSG and Shitty Gang, and all them dudes making money off your retarded ass. Trafficking. This is my. Sorry for being long winded, but trafficking doesn't mean that you're buying and selling. It's not the two transactions. Keep in mind when you go live and you fucking further incriminate yourself, you say that you buy guns. That's all you do is collect them, but then you also say that not all your guns are on that premises. So let's say I'm a person who buys poultry, right? I'm a fucking supplier for KFC, right? So I can fucking buy 10,000 chickens, like 10 truckloads, and I can move them to a storage facility. Even if I'm not selling them from that storage facility, I'm still trafficking them. You dumbass. You claim you're a legal expert because just because you don't buy and you sell on the same day don't mean you're not trafficking. The same could be applied to them fucking stolen fucking goods you sell out your garage and your alleged 15 storage containers and shit. Just because you don't sell them all in one day, or just the action of you buying them from the auction, allegedly you think you kind of snapped, although majority of it might be stolen, and that could be a next charge that they're looking for you at, right? See, again, while I'm at work, I'm thinking, what is Brenda Sam doing? Because I got to email her, and since I'm the troll, you claim that helped her and Mike Roach, or whatever his name is, the former police chief, nail you to the wall on this shit. I'm thinking, yo, they're probably looking at all that merchandise. Again, you ever hear the charge rather, racketeering, right? Not necessarily RICO itself, but more so the trafficking, the fraud. There's a whole lot of shit that Brenda Sam did not say in the affidavit. Again, when you read the affidavit, go to the 1 hour, 52-minute, and 16-second mark. That's when you were reading Brenda Sam, the detective, who you call the white bitch, white cracker bitch, I think what you called her. And she said, quote unquote, which is me trying to paraphrase it, she cannot release all the information that she has on you. There's more pending charges, Tyra, but because it's in the affidavit, they don't want you to be able to see it and then try to prep your legal team. Not everything is going to be in the deposition. Again, they might bring more charges on you while you're in court, and that's called stacking, right? Just like the Oath Keepers made the stack when they went up the staircase. All them dudes about to get convicted. Same way with you, Tyra. Same way with you. You about to get convicted. The thing is, Tyra, who's gonna pay your? They ain't no bond. Excuse me, they ain't no bond after you get convicted. Don ain't gonna help you. I promise you, Don ain't gonna help you, cause you got felonies. You ain't getting out. This ain't no civil shit. This ain't no Bruno tied up in the backyard shit. Ain't no running the courtroom. Running the judge about the courtroom. Let me drop this link for your retarded ass, since I know you in the bushes. Hold down. Hold down. Break this shit down like a 50-cent racehorse, Tyra. Come on now. Stuart Rhodes got fucked up. You about to get fucked up too. You girl ready to get fucked up in the court, Tyra. Break this shit down. That's what I need you to do, Tyra. Right? So explain to me how Stuart Rhodes and the Oath Keepers getting convicted, and you think you're not going to get convicted. Right? Let's take a quick peek to see how much funding them dudes had, right? Because Oath Keepers, it's a national network. They didn't go up in there. Maybe he should start a GoFundMe. I think he should. but then they get him on fraud again, potentially. If Tyra started a GoFundMe for his legal fees, could they get him on fraud? Probably. I think he should. I think we should encourage him to do that shit. But what I'm saying is the Oath Keepers, again, OAFF, because Tyra has a severe lisp. Um, them dudes, they had a lawyer, they had legal counsel. Now, in comparison, Tyra, you said that your legal counsel, Cody, whatever his name is only there to assist you, quote unquote. You said, I think you said about 2 weeks ago, that Cody is there only to assist you, and if he does not do, quote unquote, what you tell him to do, you're gonna fire him. So let's compare that to the dude in Minnesota, the whatever his name is, the dude with the dreads who ran over all them people at the Christmas parade. So you gonna do the same shit as him? You gonna I mean, they both got convicted. One fired their lawyers, the other had lawyers, assumingly big lawyers, and he still got fucked up. And it only took 3 days for him to get convicted, Tyra. What is your plan after you get convicted? You said you're gonna appeal while at home, excuse me, whilst at home. Let me read this comment real quick. Do you think Donna would actually leave him if he went to jail? They lost everything. He claims she's a writer. Nah, Donna gonna leave. Donna gonna leave. I promise you that. Let me be like Tyra. Donna gonna leave. I promise you that. I'm gonna say it one more time because Tyra, with this mental illness, and don't even try to rely on your mental illness to get you up out this shit, Tyra. You ain't one of them fucking crazy white boy shooters try to say you got some mental illness. They ain't gonna let you. They ain't gonna, nah, you going straight to jail, mental illness and all. Donna gonna leave him. I honestly think Donna gonna leave him. She probably the mother might have some common sense and say, "Yo, let's get out of here while we can," because the property tax gonna get fucked up. Um, yeah, I think the property tax. When's the property tax due? May? Is it due March? March and November, the property tax is due. Yeah, because it's supposed to be like, how much is the property tax? I know he had the bill for like 1,700 and he fucked up and he couldn't pay it. So I think it's like eight something and change. I know D Rizzo has a whole bunch of videos on it. D Rizzo knows for sure. D Rizzo has a whole bunch of videos on how much the property tax is, but I don't think Donna can manage the property tax, paying the light bill. They don't have. I don't think they don't have air conditioning. They have the air conditioning unit, so that's all in the light bill. But um, I don't think they can handle it. Donna, yeah, she gonna lose the house. I honestly don't think between her disability and the mother's check. I don't know. I think they'll move in with the daughters. I don't know if the daughters would move into that house and they get rid of the dogs. I think Donna would liquidate everything or majority of it, and that's when Shitty Gang, Sunny Mob, Army of Victim Own, they can send representatives. I mean, the person who gets the True Con, that's the item. The person who gets like maybe his boots, autograph fucking boots of Littlefoots, that's something. Hold on, if nothing is paid by May, it goes up to, yep, that's true, by May. Yeah. I think again, you gotta check with D Rizzo because I know I broke it down with Shitty Greg about a year or so ago, but the property tax is due in I think November for sure. Yeah, exposing King. Why not? Why not? The person who gets the TrueCon, shit, to be on YouTube driving yo, come on, and the trailer too, and then the dogs. I think yo, when Tyra gets locked up, I think there should be like whether it be John, Goodwin, whether it be Vic. Yeah, somebody's got to get Tyra's dogs. Someone's got to get Tyra's dogs. Um, yeah, let me play something real quick. It's regarding Glenn Kirshner, and it's going to put everything that my hypothesis into context. So Copyright Act of 1992, whatever the fuck it is I'm gonna play some shit that belongs to Brian Tyler Cohen, and that dude can't flag my ass because I'm doing this for a review process of a bitch ass piece of shit named True Freeman. And here we go.
Betting on Trump not knowing when to shut up.
Yeah.
He took to Truth Social.
Hold on. I'm gonna back that up. Y'all hear what he said? I'm gonna rewind that shit because I've been telling you Tyra is just like Donald Trump. What does dude say?
Breakdown. Let's jump in. Glenn, no one ever lost money betting on Trump not knowing when to shut up. He took to Truth.
Tyra never knows when to shut the fuck up. And just like Trump be on Truth Social, Tyra comes to fucking YouTube and incriminate himself every day and fuck up Cody's case. I mean, what lawyer really wants to take a case for knowing they're gonna lose, right? If granted, Cody is an injury lawyer, Cody still has a reputation to take. It's like your client is gonna keep fucking up your case, cussing at the lawyers, cussing at the judge and the DA and all this shit. At what point does Cody say, "Yo, take your money back. I don't want this case." Let's continue. To quote Tyra.
Site that he created where he could publicly admit to crimes, and he called out the DOJ, writing, "When will you invade the other president's homes in search of documents, which are voluminous, which they took with them, but not nearly so openly and transparently as I did." Now, just to be clear, it is the last part that I'm interested in, where he admits to taking documents. If you're
in similar context, Tyra admits to threatening the Steve Warren and the other dude. He admits to having his gun on the porch, his ARs and whatnot. And Tyra admits saying that, and again, I'm just trying to put this in the context here. Tyra admits that they came to his house, so they threatened him, so he has the right to say and do whatever he wants. He completely ignores the facts. I wouldn't say ignores. He willfully ignores that these are bounty hunters, right? He'll try to use semantics and say, "Oh, they got the word Brenda Sam got the word wrong and called them bounty hunters." Or excuse me, what did he say? That Brenda Sam got the words wrong and called them some other shit when they were bounty hunters instead. So that ain't gonna work for you, Tyra. You still admit to your wrongdoing and you're trying to justify it and saying just because they came to your house and you have it on camera, oh, and because they knocked on his gate, they didn't knock on his door. Well, it's still something that's wood, metal. It obstructs the walkway and it's attached by two hinges, right? So yeah, Tyra, you admitted and you're trying to cover it up and use semantics. Let me read this comment real quick. He should have exercised his right to remain silent. Isn't he supposed to be the coldest legal expert? Yes, exposing King. If he valued his freedom, he would shut his mouth. It was sad watching the raid footage. Why was it sad? When he was spilling the beans on himself in front of the officers. That wasn't sad. That wasn't sad at all. I make judges run out the courtroom. True Freeman. I bet that's you. The link is up there, dog. You can call in and break this down. Correct the federal prosecutor what's his name? Glenn Kirshner. Let's continue.
Jack Smith, how does this post factor into your case against Trump?
You know, this is like evidence from heaven, and maybe Trump should rename his third-rate social media platform Confession Social.
Ooh-wee.
Because, I would print out all of these posts by Donald Trump. I would slap a government exhibit sticker on it, and I would offer it as incriminating evidence at the inevitable criminal trial of Donald Trump.
Y'all hear this shit? Tyra goes on live and incriminates himself, and he knows this is the shit that's crazy. Tyra knows that the DA and the state prosecutor are listening, yet he still comes on live. No one forces him. He willingly comes on live. He willingly admits that they're listening, and he continues to intimidate, threaten, and as Glenn Kirshner says in this, it can be used as Tyra trying to impede and or obstruct the case. So he might catch another charge. Again, the 1 hour, 52 minute, 16-second mark when Tyra was reading the affidavit, Brenda Sand, the detectives, again, she says, "I got more on this dude. I just can't put it in here yet." Tyra, you ain't getting that bag. Shut the fuck up. You getting some jail time. Ain't gonna be no goddamn 2 years. That's the baseline. You probably gonna be there goddamn 5, 6, 7, 8 years, Tyra. Let's continue.
Remarkable that Donald Trump admitted that he openly and transparently stole documents that didn't belong to him. And
Tyra willingly, openly admitted to threatening the bounty hunters. And he's trying to blame Super Jim and the trolls as to why he threatened the bounty hunters. He damn well knew they were bounty hunters. They weren't there. They didn't do anything to him. He just saw on video and made a threatening video thereafter. Tyra, you going to jail. Jael.
unlawfully concealed them at the White House. And, you know, that makes Jack Smith's job all the easier, because
DA,
one of the things, one of the elements of the crime of theft of government documents is that he stole them knowingly. And what he could have done is...
Tyra willingly threatened the bounty hunters. He knowingly and willingly threatened the bounty hunters. Ain't nobody forcing them to make them videos threatening the public officials. Intimidation of public officials.
Up my own boxes at the White House. I didn't tell people what to put in those boxes. They packed them up. They transported them to Mar-a-Lago, and I didn't...
The trolls didn't make the video. Tyra did. Nobody forced Tyra to make that video threatening public officials. Tyra made it on his own volition. Ain't nobody edited him. And again, Tyra admitted to fucking threatening the bounty hunters.
In them. He has now taken that defense away from himself. He's made the
can't say he didn't know.
Jack Smith having to prove that he knowingly
Tyra,
and intentionally stole documents,
threatened the bounty
it makes
hunters.
it that much easier. So I hope Donald Trump continues to post early and
keep going live, Tyra. Keep going live.
His own legal grave deeper and deeper.
Keep going live, Tyra.
I know this guy's a sloppy mess, but
let me
all
pause
kidding
this real
aside,
quick. That's actually a very good question, Cristal 405. And again, I reference the 1 hour, 52 minutes, 16-second mark when Tyra was reading the affidavit, right? Because again, Brenda Sam, the detective, says she has more. For all we know, Donna is going to pick up charges, right? And once they have Tyra already convicted, is Tyra really going to sell Donna out? I mean, he already did on the porch. He said all of those, quote unquote, all of those are her guns. All of those are her guns. Again, she says she has more charges. She just cannot what's the word I'm looking for? Give them out right now. Divulge, right? So Tyra says all the guns are in Donna's names. But Tyra has also said in previous videos, which they already have his laptops, everything. So if they don't get it from D Rizzo, myself, or Super Jim, they already know. I think it was sometime earlier this year, Tyra was going to all them gun shows. And if you reference even to earlier this week or last week, Tyra says, all I do is buy guns. You're still trafficking. More so, why are you buying guns if all the guns are in Donna's name? How does that paperwork work? So what are you doing, Tyra? Are you buying the guns and then you put them in Donna's name? Or is Donna unwillingly, you take her credit card, buy guns, forge her name? Who's signing for them, Tyra? Who is signing for all these guns you buy, let alone the guns you claim that you do not sell? If you say that all the guns, before you read your Miranda rights, you were running your mouth like a fucking parrot, you said that all the guns are in Donna's name. And on the other hand, you say that you buy guns all the time. You collect guns. So how are none of the guns in your name if you're the one buying them? Break that question down, Tyra. Break that down like a 50-cent racehorse. How are you a collector of guns with no guns in your name? Every gun is in Donna's name. What you said on body cam, which you could have willingly withheld your Fifth Amendment right and shut the fuck up and not said anything in front of the cops. Let's continue. Let me unpause this shit. You're going to jail, Tyra. Jael. Glenn Kirshner, give him some more.
Not a lawyer there to tell him, not to admit to crimes on the internet?
What? What? Where was Cody? Shouldn't have Cody told you not to admit to retarded shit you be doing on the internet, Tyra? But I mean, you say you don't need a lawyer.
Lots of cabinet officials that told Donald Trump, don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other thing.
Donna is a
and
felon.
He did them. You know, he has no sense. He has no concern for the rule of law or the good of the American people.
That's
and he
Tyra.
apparently has no reservation about just admitting to crime out in the open. And here's the thing, Brian. It's been working for him pretty well all along.
Because
the
Tyra's
man
a
was an
snitch.
unabated crime wave while in the Oval Office, and he's yet to be held accountable. So, you know,
Tyra is an unabated crime wave on YouTube. Who is he doxxed? Whose children has he gone after? All types of shit. It's only because he's fucked with someone in the state of Indiana that they're able to pop him now. They know what the fuck he's doing.
To say it is stupid of him to continue to confess to crimes in the harsh light of day. The man hasn't been held accountable for any of it yet.
That's Tyra.
You do bring up a good point. You know, he does have this. There is this notion that if he admits to crimes in broad daylight, that they somehow aren't illegal. Like as if crimes could only happen under the cloak of darkness, and that's been a recurring theme for Trump.
Isn't that what Tyra does? He admits to dox him because that's all he can do. People are attacking his family, so he retaliates. He doesn't say what I'm doing is illegal, but he just says I retaliate. That's Tyra. Let's continue.
Few years.
Yeah, I mean, if you rob a bank and you get caught, you'll be prosecuted. If you rob a bank and you run around announcing, I robbed the bank, I robbed the bank, it does make everybody sort of scratch their head and say, well, why is
he
this
says he retaliates.
person admitting to crimes out loud? You know, it will cause some prosecutors, I'll tell you, Brian, to think, does this person need a psychiatric or psychological screening to see?
Tyra's already had a mental evaluation. And again, Tyra, I don't think you claiming that that you got some mental illness is going to work for you, because in your lives, which you admit that the police are watching, you say that you don't have a mental illness. So when you get up on that court stand, they start crossing up your ass, and that you get on cross examination. Please don't try to claim that you got a mental illness, because again, you come on YouTube and say that you're a stable genius. I think you said you're very stable, and I just relay that right to your boy, former boy in the White House. You ain't no stable genius. You're an idiot. Let's continue.
Trial, or perhaps as an insanity defense, but you know, it does make people pause, because it's not our sort of common understanding that people run around bragging about their crimes. Donald Trump does.
Tyra
and somehow it's kept him out of trouble, at least criminal trouble.
Because Tyra ain't fucking nobody in Indiana until now.
In recent weeks, and we spoke about this for the last episode that we did, but Trump has ramped up his attacks against Jack Smith. I know we talked last time about how he was attacking his wife.
Isn't Brenda Sam?
This pretty much follows the same strategy that Trump has employed again.
Isn't Tyra attacking the DA? He's said something about the judge, fucking continuing the case without telling him. As far as I know, and I could be wrong, I think the judge only has to tell your lawyer. It's up to your lawyer to tell you, right? So Tyra, in similar fashion, he's been attacking the DA. He's been attacking the detective. He's basically today, was it today or was it yesterday, that he played the video and showed the faces of all the SWAT and the jump out boys. So now you put them and their family at risk. You're the same one used to scream that Chucky put your family at risk, and here you are showing the pictures of the faces of the jump out boys. So what are the chances of Tyra not being convicted? Slim to none. Slim to none, Cristal. Tyra's getting convicted. Fuck you mean? He's getting convicted. You see the effort they put into this boy, all them fucking feds they put on his ass? No, dog. They don't put APCs and fucking jump out boys on your house and raid and SWAT team and all this shit. I'm surprised they didn't bring dogs for drugs, unless we didn't see him or he ain't saying nothing about it. But they're not going to do all that and only give out a fucking misdemeanor and let you walk. I honestly think that's a lot of effort they put in for them to not secure a conviction. More so, I mean, I watch a lot of like not necessarily court TV and stuff like that, but when you see like them draft up like a warrant, a search warrant, chances are they already got you dead to rights. They've already got enough for a conviction because I mean, this is what Glenn Kirshner says. That I've been watching for a long ass time. Prosecutors, especially state and or federal, they don't like to lose. That's their credibility. So they gonna make sure they have an airtight case. So to Tyra's point about him screaming, "Oh, this has been going on 6-7 years," they've only been building a case against Tyra. But he claims he has more evidence against IMPD. He's full of shit. And again, they're just letting him talk. They're just letting him talk because all this shit's gonna be used against him. Right? That's why they ain't come and pick him up yet. Let him keep fucking threatening Brenda Sam and fucking Steve Warren and the SWAT officers and all that shit. Let's continue.
It's the angry Democrat, Robert Mueller, who wasn't so much a Democrat as you explained last time, as he was a lifelong Republican. He's posted a raft of truths to try and undermine Jack Smith's credibility
it's like
and
Tyra going
intimidate
live.
him online.
Intimidate Brenda Sam.
In May of this year at The Hague, Jack Smith was trying a case. He convicted two high-profile figures. One of the charges was intimidation during criminal proceedings. So
let me run that back, Deep Turbo. Run that back.
In May of this year at The Hague, Jack Smith was trying a case. He convicted two high-profile figures. One of the charges was intimidation during criminal proceedings.
Intimidation, Tyra. The same shit that you're charged on right now. What are you doing to Brenda Sam? You're calling her a bitch. You're calling her fuck the DA, fuck IMPD, fuck the state prosecutor. All this shit you be saying, Tyra. Hi, Tracy. Is that Tracy? No, Tanya. Yeah. Yeah, Tyra. Yeah, keep threatening the state prosecutor. Let's continue because it's more intimidation. You're finished, Tyra. You're finished.
Questions here. First, is there an equivalent charge in the U.S. That Jack Smith could look into here?
Listen up, Tyra.
How does Jack Smith's past, focusing on that topic, specifically factor in here?
Donald Trump's threats against Jack Smith's family members
Brenda Sam
might very well support an obstruction of justice charge. What is he?
What? Say that again. Run that back, Turbo.
Donald Trump's threats against Jack Smith's
Brenda
family
Sam, the
members
DA,
might very well support an obstruction of justice charge.
Obstruction of justice.
He's trying to corruptly interfere in the administration of justice.
Run that back.
Obstructing justice.
Run that back.
Might very well support an obstruction of justice charge. What is he doing? He's trying to corruptly interfere in the administration of justice. And obstructing justice is a 20-year federal felony. It might also constitute.
Run that back.
He's trying to corruptly interfere in the administration of justice. And obstructing justice is a 20-year federal felony. It might also constitute interfering or impeding with the official duties of a government employee or official. There are any number of crimes.
Let's run that back. Tyra, you listening? I hope you're listening, Tyra.
Interfering or impeding with the official duties of a government employee or official. There are any number of crimes. Also,
one more time.
Interfering or impeding with the official duties of a government employee or official. There are any number of crimes that might be brought as a result of Donald Trump's really ill-advised.
Told you. Again, 1 hour, 52 minutes, 16 mark. Brenda Sam, the detective, says she has more charges she just can't divulge at this time. You got more charges, Tyra. You probably got tax evasion. You got fraud. You probably got money laundering. Whew, I wouldn't want to be you, Tyra. Real shit.
Attacks on the family members of special counsel Jack Smith. And, Jack Smith, the more you learn about him, like that information you just brought to our attention about how he was prosecuting similar crimes at The Hague, he seems to have a spine of steel. He seems to be a real without fear or favor kind of guy. He has gone after Republican politicians and Democrats in his time as head of the public integrity section at the Department of Justice. it feels like he's the right man for the job. And again, I think this is a real miscalculation. If Donald Trump somehow thinks that he is going to intimidate or deter Jack Smith.
Run that back, Tyra. What are you trying to do to Brenda, the detective, and the IMPD? When you say fuck the IMPD, you say fuck Brenda Sam, you say fuck Austin Eden, the dude from the SWAT team. Who else you threatened? I think you threatened the judge because the judge continued the case and switched the judge. What are you trying to do? What is he doing, Glenn?
Job. And again, I think this is a real miscalculation. If Donald Trump somehow thinks that he is going to intimidate, or deter Jack Smith from bringing the crimes that are supported by the evidence, I think
deter Brenda Sam from bringing forth the crimes which are supported by the evidence. Is that what you're trying to do, Tyra? Ooh, these are felonies, Tyra. This ain't no misdemeanor. Keep it up, Tyra. Continue, Glenn. Help us out.
Trump has got another thing coming.
Yeah. Okay, so let's switch gears here. We have some brand new news.
Hold on, let me read this comment, but that's not talking about Indiana law. That's United States federal law. But didn't Tyra commit a felony? I mean, help me out. Wouldn't a felony constitute federal law? Help me out, Christel. I'm listening. Go ahead and type your retort to that. I'm gonna continue while you retort.
Rhodes, who's the leader of the Oath Keepers, he was found guilty of seditious
Tyra.
conspiracy. If he was taking his cues from Donald Trump, then how could a mid-level defendant be guilty and yet not the guy at the top? Is this not like saying that a drug dealer on some street corner is guilty but not the drug lord?
RICO charges,
this is
Tyra.
A historic verdict. No,
they got your phones, they got your fucking computers, and in the affidavit you said that they're checking who you've been in contact with, who you've been calling, and all that shit. So chances are, Tyra, like I said in the video, I think I did probably about a month or two ago, the people in your phone, after they lock your retarded ass up, who knows who's gonna get raided? You know what I'm saying? Again, Brenda Sam says she got more charges coming. So if anything, all the numbers that are in your phone right now, all your boys, they got wires on them boys. So good job, Tyra. You got all your boys' phone tapped.
The federal government doesn't often bring seditious conspiracy charges. Last time we did, when I was with the federal government, they were brought out in Michigan and they failed. That was back in 2010 to 2012. And it feels like this should implicate Donald Trump, right? Because these are some of his foot soldiers who seem to have been doing his bidding.
Right.
But a seditious conspiracy means it's an agreement between two or more people to commit a crime and then one overt act. Doing
two or more people to commit a crime and one overt act. Okay, so we have tax fraud, yourself, Donna, her mom. We have money laundering, yourself, Donna, her mother. Who else, or what else rather? Tax evasion, Tyra, Donna, the mother. For all we know, she could be claiming she has a different address while getting them SSI checks whilst living with Tyra and Donna. Because if she lived with Donna, chances are she may not, or she listed that she was actually living with Donna, she may not get those checks. And Donna's saying, my mother lives at a different address, so I go over there and I provide health care for my mother rather than put her in a home. So that could be one of the charges, right? Maybe that's something that Princess X or Geek Boy could look into for us, and or Swoosh God, since they're all in Indy, and see, or Super Jim, if you're listening, or if someone wants to get this to Super Jim, maybe you could confirm what is the last known address for Donna's mother. Again, for all we know, Donna's mother is claiming a separate address. Donna then claims she's at 911 Rule Street and going to the mother's false address, providing health care for her mother and collecting a check for said rendered services, which are never provided. That's fraud. Defrauding the fucking federal government and or state government. So that's maybe something else that Brenda Sam has something cooking for Tyra. And to the earlier point, I think that Cristal 405 made for Donna. I think Cristal said if Donna have any pending charges, and that could be well one of them, fraud related to the mother. Maybe Donna is giving her busted hip check to Donna, or excuse me, to Tyra. I mean that's fair to say. How was Tyra collecting an SSI check when he never worked? He's not getting. I don't think he's getting a crazy check. So there again, to Cristal's point, maybe that is what's happening with Donna. They're just waiting for her to keep cashing them checks and shit, right? I don't think Tyra has a bank account. He claims he does, but if Donna is stupid enough to endorse a check, meaning she's signing on the back of it, and they deposit into Tyra's bank account, what more could you want? She's taken her busted hip check since she fell at work and busted her hip allegedly. She thinks she kind of snapped, and then you're giving that to Tyra. That's fraud all day. Tyra then takes that cash, goes down to the auction, and or when he bought the dog food, he's using Donna's credit card. They're ordering shit off FedEx and Amazon every day. So yeah, but there you go. All that I mean, maybe they're doing financial. I don't know if they're doing financial audits on them, but yo, to Cristal's point, Dawn is collecting the hip check. She's getting the pills. Sungrown has brought up the point that there's a good chance that they're moving them pills. They're moving them out the door, right? She probably gets some fucking muscle relaxers and shit, and they're probably selling them. Let me read this thing real quick. I just don't understand if IMPD is really listening to his live, then why don't they come get him and hold him in jail until his trial in January with the recent threat he's been doing on his live? They're making the case airtight because they're going to show that he's constantly, right? They're going to show we can leave him alone, we can arrest him, we can let him out, and he'll go right back doing the same shit. So IMPD and the detective is saying, again, go back to when Tyra was reading the affidavit. She has training in online this online bullshit. So she knows what he's doing. She's given Tyra so much rope so they can say, yo, we locked him up. He bonded out. We got the court order to go grab his ass again. We let him out. And he's right back threatening IMPD again. And if he keeps it up until January, January 4th or is it January 9th? I think it's January 9th is his court date, right? So up until January 9th, he keeps on threatening us. He keeps on saying, fuck IMPD, fuck the DA, fuck the state prosecutor. What defense could he possibly have? Let me get Glenn Kirshner continue helping us out here since Tyra wants to impede, threaten, and obstruct the state prosecutor and DA, Ryan Mears.
In the direction of the commission of that crime. But there really was no evidence adduced to trial. I sat through all 7 weeks of the trial.
7 weeks,
showing
Tyra.
that Donald Trump was part of this seditious conspiracy. Stuart Rhodes marshaled all of his oath keepers to try to violently overthrow the government. But one of the things that actually cuts against this conviction implicating Donald Trump is Stuart Rhodes said all along, listen, Trump, stand up, invoke the Insurrection Act so we can come in and violently deny Joe Biden his election win.
Violently threaten the DA.
That, we, the Oath Keepers, will take matters into our own hands and do it ourselves.
Hasn't Tyra said that since IMPD isn't doing anything, he's going to take matters into his own hands? Again, Tyra said IMPD isn't doing anything. Y'all son of bitches have sat and watched this happen for almost 7 years now. I'm going to take things in my own hands. We got video of Tyra walking up and down the sidewalk, his side of the street with the 9mm out looking for Jim, screaming, going to the back alley with his pistol out, going to the speedway with his pistol, pulling his gun on homeless people and shit. Like there's more than enough record to show that Tyra is unable to control himself psychologically, mentally, physically. He's just someone who doesn't need a firearm. So yeah, he and we have him currently threatening all forms of government. state, local, damn near federal too.
That Donald Trump never did invoke the Insurrection Act. So actually, the way the evidence developed at trial, you don't have a strong evidentiary argument that Donald Trump was part of this conspiracy. Did Donald Trump incite the attack on the Capitol? And is that a crime?
Is Donald
all
part of
day
it?
long.
Donald's
And those
part
are some
of it.
of the charges that I expect will be coming.
Donald's going to
courtesy
get
of Jack
charged.
Smith.
Okay, so I want to come back.
I got it. You know what, Chris Styles? I really got to I gotta expand on your point. I really think Donna's going to get charged because again, Tyra did say all the guns are in her name. She lives in that house with him, right? So again, let's say it's cocaine. Let's say it's heroin or fentanyl or what have you. How do you only charge one person in a house? They claim they're married, or at least Tyra claims that he's married to her. At the least, do they not charge her for more to make her state evidence against Tyra? I honestly think you have a valid point. They had her in allegedly they had her in handcuffs, but I honestly think that Donna is going to get charged down the line, and they're going to offer her immunity to flip on Tyra. It could well happen.
Way. Rhodes joins a guy named Jeremy Bertino, who is the former leader of the Proud Boys. He was also found guilty of seditious conspiracy. Does having these two dominoes fall make it easier or more palatable or more evident that higher-ups then, including Donald Trump, are charged or found guilty of something like seditious conspiracy?
So, the higher ups, that's still an open
There you
question.
go,
But here's what these verdicts do. These verdicts send a couple of really important messages. One, these verdicts are a victory for the rule of law over lawlessness. These verdicts are also a victory of facts over propaganda, disinformation, and alternative facts, because these 5 defendants went into this trial and tried to convince the jury that they were patriots. They were trying to set right.
Tyra tries to convince us that he's a sovereign and that he's the coldest on the internet, the coldest turkey, and nobody in the legal game can fuck with him.
A rigged election. And they were doing the patriotic thing. And by their verdicts, the jury said, no, y'all are not patriots, y'all are traitors. In substance, that's what this jury said. The other thing that these verdicts do that's really important is they will stiffen the spine of some and they will weaken the spine of others. What do I mean by that?
Ooh-wee.
They will stiffen the spines of the high DOJ officials who took a chance on bringing seditious conspiracy charges. This was not a sure winner for the federal prosecutors, but they won.
To that point, as I stated earlier, the state is not going to make all that effort, use all them resources, the APCs, armored personnel carriers, 30, 50 different SWAT, IMPD, sheriff. You have multiple jurisdiction. Again, Tyra's up in arms, screaming, shouting, cussing at the judge, the DA, the detective, which Glenn Kirshner has stated can be perceived as an act of intimidation and or impeding the investigation and or obstructing the investigation, which carries a 20-year felony on its own. So when Tyra wants to say that, why am I losing my train of thought here? When Tyra wants to say that, all these guns are in Donna's name, they're not in my name, fuck the judge, fuck this. I don't think he's really helping himself. Why did I lose my damn train of thought? I was going to make a good point. Let me back this shit up real quick. I'm going to back it up 10 seconds and get my train of thought.
Officials who took a chance on bringing seditious...
That's the point I was trying to make. Yeah, now it came back. For them to use all that effort and involved multiple jurisdictions, IMPD, sheriff, SWAT, and use all that shit, as I said earlier in the video, not judges, because they're supposed to be impartial. Prosecution, they don't like to lose. Much like defense, they don't like to lose. Any lawyer, solicitor, worth their time, worth their salt, is not going to take a case they know they can't win. This is why Tyra has a personal injury lawyer. If they lose this case, they don't give a shit. That's not their area of expertise. Whereas a state prosecutor, a county or district attorney rather, they have a name to maintain. They like to be 100-0. They like to be fucking have an undefeated record, right? So an injury lawyer taking a loss on a felony gun charge case, trafficking, tax evasion, that's not their shit. They can sweep that under the rug and write that shit off. Whereas if you're like again a state prosecutor, a district attorney, you're not going to lose a case. That I mean, they make sure that they have all their shit airtight. Going back and referencing Chris Styles' point, while they let him keep up all this bullshit and keep threatening him and try to obstruct, because they want their case airtight. Tyra claims to be a legal expert, but again was talking crazy in front of the cops when he knew he was on body cam, and all he did was just make the case for the district attorney that much stronger. So again, Tyra, keep talking. TAWKING, keep talking. Yeah, they're not going to bring a case they can't lose. So that's why they're letting him loose. They could have easily snatched his ass up for him saying I still got guns and they can't take all my guns. I just keep them off site, which means you're still trafficking. That's the point I was meaning to make earlier. Just because you claim you buy a whole bunch of guns, you claim you don't sell, but if you buy a whole bunch of let's say you're buying a whole bunch of laptops, what have you, you don't sell them, but you move them from different locations, you're still trafficking them. You're still trafficking them. If they're so man, Tyra, you're a fucking dumbass, man. The case against you is airtight. The DA again is not going to use all them resources just to let an idiot like you walk out the courtroom. That ain't happening.
Charges. This was not a sure winner for the federal prosecutors, but they won. That will embolden other, decisions that are close calls that have to be made at the upper echelons of the Department of Justice, whose spines will be weakened. Every other defendant who is now pending trial in a seditious conspiracy case, because remember, this trial was only against half of the Oath Keepers in that military stack that we all sort of infamously saw breaching the Capitol, right? The other half
they convict
is
Tyra.
Still pending trial.
It's easy for them to convict Donna
cases, as are the
since
Proud
Tyra
Boys.
says all the guns are in her name.
Dominoes start to fall. People are gonna say, look, the jury just convicted the Oath Keepers of seditious conspiracy. For openers, that's a 20-year prison term.
I bet you Tyra will
I'm going to plead guilty.
I'm going to cooperate.
I'm going to tell the prosecutors what I know about not only what my fellow Oath Keepers or my fellow Proud Boys did, but I'm going to bring it into the Willard War Room. And I'm going to tell the prosecutors what Roger Stone did, what Steve Bannon did, what Mike Flynn did, what Rudy Giuliani did, and maybe that then works its way up to Mark Meadows.
For all we know, Tyra, when they get Donna to flip on your ass, she gonna open up the computers and show them exactly where all the files are. She might give them the passcodes if their electronic forensic dude can't get past certain passcodes. Donna's probably gonna give it to him. What's gonna happen when Donna turns state evidence? What? Lady Steele says, I think he's going to beat the case on some technicality. Honestly, Lady Steele, I covered earlier that Tyra may try to plead insanity or some type of mental illness. But again, Tyra is constantly saying that he is not mentally ill on live. He knows and he claims that IMPD, the sheriffs, and especially the Brenda Sam, the lead detective, is watching his lives. But he still says that I am not insane. I'm stable. He said, what do you say earlier? That I'm a genius, and I quoted mocking him saying you're a very stable genius. I don't think he's able to play the mental. He says he's I don't know. I honestly don't think he's going to be able to play the mental game. He can't claim that they physically roughed him up or beat him up or none of that. I don't know. I honestly don't think that the IMPD made any mistakes. For them to make all that effort, for them to do all that planning and make a dumbass mistake, what's he gonna say? Oh, Robbie was clowning my ass and made fun of my house. I don't. It's nothing. I don't know. No. I'd be hard pressed to see that the IMPD would make all this effort. Not only the IMPD, but to the point I made, it's IMPD, the sheriff's office, and SWAT. It's not like they didn't coordinate with one another before they went in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't tip over the lady in the wheelchair upstairs. Don't throw the bitch down the stairs. That might cost us the case. I don't think that's the case. You know what I'm saying? I think they did a well job. Um, I'd be hard pressed to see Tyra get off on a technicality. Not saying it's impossible. Hold on, he's not going to claim insanity, but he could claim to an extent the trolling has changed his life. Ah. But Lady Steele, has he ever tried to get mental help? Right? You got to use all mitigating factors. He's got to use all potentials, right? He can't say, "Oh, for example, I'm in an abusive relationship, but I refuse to move out, so this person drove me insane, so I had to kill him." Right? I.e., that girl from Utah who stabbed up the boyfriend, but she kind of cute. Forget her name though. Jodi Arias. That's it. Jodi Arias. Right? She can't claim insanity. Tyra, as he said earlier this week, or was it late? The other part of last week, he said the police told him to get off YouTube, stop going on YouTube, and he said, "Fuck that, y'all ain't gonna chase me off YouTube." The police say they came to the house in the tanks, didn't do anything wrong. I mean, the warrants and paperwork may have been mishandled. Uh, the tanks. Tyra calls them tanks. They're APCs. And Tyra's claimed to shoot several times that he's going to shoot at police. That in itself, he's going to claim insanity. Oh, he's not going to claim insanity, but it's a possible angle. I don't think he can claim insanity. I covered that a little bit earlier before you got here, and I honestly don't think he can claim insanity. Because he how can you claim it? Yeah, you know there aren't tanks. He says they're tanks. They're APCs. A fucking idiot. And they only brought the APC because he says he at the Castle Doctrine. He's constantly screaming, "Castle Doctrine, I'm gonna shoot your face off to the cops and everything. Jump the fence, I'm gonna shoot you under the Castle Doctrine." So of course they brought the tanks. Of course they had their shields up when they ran up in the house. Right? We're lucky. For all we know, they didn't find any grenades. For all we know, there might have been that they found grenades and shit. But I don't think he can. I don't think he can claim insanity or any mental illness because he would. If it were me and I had a mental illness or thought I had a mental illness, I would go to go get assessed. For him to make that claim in a courtroom and have no paperwork, I went to got several evaluations, not even one evaluation. Did he call a suicide prevention line? Did he ever go to a mental hospital? He hasn't. Yet red flags are a hot topic. Of course, how could they not be? For Tyra? I thought Jim called red flag on his ass long time. And IMP ain't do nothing. I thought fucking Rizzo called red flag on his ass. I think the police are trying to solve his troll problem for him by removing a device. They ain't gonna solve nothing because he went right back and got more devices and went right back online. So that goes to the point that Chris Styles was making, right? And I then retorted to Chris Styles saying that Tyra went right back to threatening the cops, right? So they took away his computers, they took away his guns. To your point, they're trying to solve his problem for him. And to my retort to Chris Paul, I'm saying that even though they did all that shit, he went right back, and that's like a domestic shit. oh, we got you out the house because the girlfriend slashed you up and bust up your windows and slash your tires and shit. They put you in a hotel. You leave the hotel and go right back in the house, and she starts beating your ass again. So Tyra is the source of his own problems. So that, as my point to Chris Styles, is that no matter what they do, he is always going to go right back to the scenario which puts him in the same goddamn problem, and then turn around and blame the police for not doing for getting him out of a situation that he keeps making worse for himself. He thinks they consider him a gun trafficker. The more believable thing would be he's a I think both are believable. I think both are very believable. Right? For again, and again, Lady Steele helped me out, because you can be a trafficker, because again, Tyra just says all he does, quote unquote, is I buy guns. I don't sell them. I think I kind of snapped. So because you say that you buy a whole bunch of guns, but then you claim that they didn't get all my guns, not all my guns are here, which would imply that you still have guns and that you still move them around. You're still trafficking, i.e., if I'm a person who buys, I'm a wholesaler and I buy wholesale furniture. It's not all at my warehouse, but I have it elsewhere. I'm still trafficking it. Just because I'm not selling it doesn't mean I'm not trafficking. This is what the legal expert doesn't understand. Let Glenn Kirshner wrap up, because I gotta finish up. I gotta be up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Fucking tire intensive, fucking my sleep and shit. Go ahead, Glenn.
Jeffrey Clark and John Eastman, and the head insurrectionist Donald Trump.
But Donna gonna catch some of this shit too. She up in the same house. And again, the point I made earlier, Miss Steele, if you missed it, Tyra claims, I'm pretty sure you were there watching the body cam footage. Tyra said all the guns are in Donna's name, but all this week he's been saying, I buy guns, I buy guns. So if you, Tyra, this is for you, Brenda Sam and Austin Eden, the SWAT dude, and Steve Warren, the bounty hunter, how can Tyra buy all these guns? So again, Tyra makes the purchases, assuming Donna's not there. Or even if she is, how come Tyra buys all the guns, but they're in Donna's name? According to Tyra, on body cam, when they had his ass out front in front of Brenda Sam, he says all the guns are in Donna's name. But this week you say that Tyra, you yourself buy all the guns. How the fuck does that work? Seems a little sketchy to me, huh? You play this shit. I gotta get to bed.
No, that's how it impacts these people on the legal front. But what about the whole far right militia culture moving forward? Do you think that these verdicts make membership less appealing, or on the flip side, do you think that it actually entrenches their?
Hey, Lady Steele, nah, there's a picture of him with like 13, 15 guns all on the couch. The couch and the front table. He had like 6 or 8 pistols. He claims he has 3 shotguns. He's got a 12 gauge, a 20 gauge, and another shotgun. He's got like 4 or 5 ARs, the pink one, the blue one, the black one. Geez, how many pistols? He's got a shitload of pistols. He's probably got more. And again, he's the same dude that claims that he goes to every gun show. Every gun show. He said that like earlier this spring of 2022 that he's going to all the fucking gun shows and he buys and shit.
Get stronger.
I think it does both. I think to the extent that you
keep in mind, Lady Steele, that picture with all them guns versus what they were able to get on the manifest. They're able to get 6 guns. He probably had 6 guns on the couch on the left side of him alone in that picture. Probably 6 guns on the probably a dozen on the coffee table in pistols, right? So how does the manifest of what they took versus what's in that picture match up? And again, I go back to the point. He says all the guns are in Donna's name. So where is Donna's name signing off ownership? That's like if you have a car dealership, you're able to sell 10, 15, 30 odd cars. but there ain't no transfer of ownership. Tyra says he's the one buying all the guns. He says that he does not sell guns. So what does he do? Does he buy them in Donna's name and sell them in his? How many months now have I been screaming exactly, own nothing, control everything? Exactly. How many months now have I been screaming that trafficking is coming for him? Let alone the fraud involving the mother. Let alone the fraud involving Donna's medical pills and all that shit. Let me wrap up with Glenn Kirshner here. I gotta get to bed. I'm actually tired now.
Thinker. And you're a critical thinker who is filled with hate and prejudice and xenophobia and misogyny and the rest of it. If you're a critical thinker, you might think twice before joining one of these, nationalist, white supremacist organizations like the Oath Keepers.
Dime Life.
With that said, I don't know that that their membership is rife with critical thinking in the
yeah,
first
he does,
place,
Lady
so.
Steels.
Right. But that's what I said. You can be a hateful person and be a critical thinker and say, you know what? Maybe I was gravitating toward the Oath Keepers, but it doesn't feel like such a good idea right now, because what I will say is convicting the head of the Oath Keepers, Elmer Stewart Rhodes, a disbarred Yale lawyer, it will have a ripple effect. It will virtually shut down the Oath Keepers, and it may actually deter others from going out and joining similar groups. But as you say, it will probably inspire others. Why? Because the deep state just won these convictions against patriots like the Oath Keepers. So I think it's a mixed bag.
Now, we're waiting on a verdict for Rhodes. So when are we expected to find out what his punishment is?
So his sentencing date and the other 4 co-defendants, all of whom were convicted of multiple counts, will be put out about 8 weeks in the future. Why is that?
Tyra.
Because the way the federal system works, there will now be a pre-sentence report that is authored that
you're going to be in jail for 2 months, Tyra.
The criminal history of the
2 months before you get sentenced.
All of the life circumstance.
Donna going to be gone by then. We going to have, ZX is live? All right, cool. Thanks for stopping by, Lady Steel.
Education.
Yeah, Donna gonna be gone. As soon as you get convicted, Donna's gone. We gonna auction, we gonna come for that auction. It won't even be an auction. Fuck all that, Tyra. I think John should take the True Con. Vic should get maybe Vic should get your dogs. Between Vic and Boss Man should get your dogs. Sungrown should get a dog too. You play this shit, wrap up for the night.
Finances, family, and all of that is packaged up for the judge, so the judge can have a complete picture
Tommy should get your guns
before the judge proceeds to sentencing.
Tommy should take all your guns.
Pretty long, drawn out affairs between the time of conviction and the time of sentencing.
Okay, let's finish off with this. You'd mentioned that you'd spent weeks in that trial room for the Stewart Rhodes trial. What was the moment? The most memorable moment from that trial, at the moment?
Tyra, your trial gonna be like goddamn 2 weeks. They're gonna convict your ass in goddamn like 3 hours.
That things were definitely not going well for him, or if
Donna's gonna leave, the daughter's gonna come get her. They're gonna drag her out that shit. The daughter's no Tyra ain't no good for her, so the daughter's gonna say, "Yo, this dude finally locked up. Let's go."
Able to preview this type of.
The house gonna be gone by March, right? And even okay, so if the trial is in January, let's say the trial is 2 months, that takes us into March. He's gonna be tied up with legal fees. Remember, Tyra said about 2 weeks ago that he thinks that the lawyer is milking him. So I mean, the lawyer he ain't doing this for free, right? So you come to the trial, or at least, the pre-trial is in January 9th. And then the trial's probably going to be like a month or two later. So March, he's still going to be paying lawyers plus the fucking property tax. And let's say the trial goes all the way until, let's say, August, right? So pre-trial January, the trial starts in fucking, let's say, March. Let's say the trial's a month. Okay, so that takes you March into April. Worst case scenario, early May, where another payment for the property tax is due. Okay, so Tyra, let's say he for godforsaken reason, he only gets 6 months. May plus another 6 months Brings you into November. He ain't been working. He can't do nothing. He's gonna be right behind the 8 ball again with the property tax. 2 payments behind. He's finished. The property's gone by March or May. Excuse me, it'd be gone by May because the next payment would be due back in March again. March and November is property tax times. So if anything, Donna's gonna be gone. Let's say again, the trial starts in January, or excuse me, the pre-trial is January, and the trial starts in March. She's gone. Once he's on trial and locked up and shit, let's say he's locked up by May, she's gone. The daughter's gonna come get her. I promise you. As soon as the house goes up for tax sale, it's not like the granddaughter's gonna let the mom or the grandmother get put out in the street. At the very least, they'll come for the grandmother, the granddaughters, right? And if they work and they got they got their kids at home, they're gonna make sure that they get their mother too, right? Donna's gone. I promise you.
Getting passed down.
Yeah. So when Elmer himself took the stand and began testifying, I will say,
let's run that back. Favorite moment of the trial is when Tyra took the fucking stand, because Tyra said he gonna box it up.
Or if you were able to preview this type of conviction getting passed down.
Yeah. So when Elmer himself took the stand
Go in
and
the box,
began
Tyra.
testifying, I will say rarely, particularly in big trials, do defendants choose to testify, because then the prosecutors will cross-examine them to death. And these prosecutors did precisely that. But even before the prosecutors got to cross-examination, it became apparent that Elmer thought he was the smartest man in the room, including smarter than the jurors, and he tried to let the jurors note that at every turn. That never played.
Don't that sound like Tyra? He said he gonna let everybody know he's the smartest man in the room. He's smarter than the jury, smarter than the judge. He gonna run the judge out the courtroom. That didn't work for Stuart Rhodes, Tyra. It didn't work for that Darren Brooks. It ain't gonna work for you.
I mean, when he said, "I determined the election was unconstitutional," and I can't make this up. He turns to the jury and he says, "And I'm a constitutional expert."
What?
Who
Run that back, Turbo?
Said, "I determined the election was unconstitutional," and I can't make this up. He turns to the jury and he says,
"What does
and
he say?
I'm a constitutional expert."
A legal expert like Tyra?
Made Elmer the arbiter of whether a presidential election is constitutional or not. And then once he decided it was unconstitutional, he got to use violence to change the results.
Violence
when
to threaten the bounty hunters.
These things, he said, "I did it from a place of patriotism," because it really was.
Tyra gonna say he did it from a place of the castle doctrine.
Unconstitutional. Just trust me. I knew that they were not really all that enamored of Elmer Stuart Rhodes, and I felt like the whole case slipped away. 2 other defendants took the stand, and frankly, they didn't fare much better. The remaining 2 defendants at least had the good sense to not take the stand, and they didn't really fare much better at the end of the day,
go up in the box.
All of these defendants were convicted of multiple counts.
Donna's gonna go up in the box and get her dumbass convicted. I honestly think Tyra, to Lady Steele's point, he puts a little bit of truth with a lot of bullshit, but I think he probably did put all the fucking. I mean, everything else is in Donna's name. The cars, I mean, all the previous rentals, it's all in Donna's name. So it does make sense. Chances are the guns are in Donna's name, and he's just the one moving shit around.
Become apparent that while these guys are kind of entrenched in their own bubbles with their members and their own social media sites and everything, they really do get high on their own supply, to the point where, again, like you said, they end up in a courtroom making themselves the arbiters of all things constitutional or true. So with that said, we'll leave it there. Obviously a lot more to come.
Definitely a lot more to come. I want to thank everybody who stopped by tonight, but I got to get to bed. That's the end of the interview. Tyra, get ready to go to jail. I got some shit to send you in the mail, right? Don't get mad. I think one of them is going to be a big tub of Vaseline, because you're going to need it. What happened to that pair of panties I fucking sent you? You need to practice wearing them shits. When you get locked up in Marion County, you gonna be wearing panties and shit, dog. They gonna rough your little 5'2" ass up, 132 pounds, 5'2". You gonna be a bitch, Tyra. So I need to get you a wig, a dress, bra, panties, and some Vaseline and some lipstick for your retarded ass. Marion County gonna be a bad place for you. Marion County Jail. Oh my God, they gonna rough you up. All right then, Chris Styles, thanks for stopping by. Have a good evening, everybody. Tyra, fuck you. You're going to jail. Jael. You should have never fucked with my man, Ghetto Intellect. Y'all have a good night.